Today, many students go to college with numerous questions about their faith, yearning to know if the seed planted in them as a child is both true and practical. Using the miracle on the road to Emmaus as a model, young adult ministers conversed weekly for 3 months with college students about the most pressing questions they had about the Catholic faith. As they journeyed together virtually, something amazing happened. Doubts disappeared, fears faded, and Jesus revealed that He is still alive. Hearts Burning Within Us, the latest book from Patchwork Heart Ministry, is a result of that grace-infused conversation. It is the perfect back-to-school gift for recent high school graduates and current college students. Get your copy for them today at patchworkheart.org or by calling 424-704-3278. That's 424-704-3278. Welcome to the Sowing Hope podcast. This is a show all about implanting hope in our hearts. I'm Bill Snyder, joined by my friend Ann DeSantis. We're glad you're here for our uplifting conversation about faith and how it sustains our hearts through all the seasons of life. Thanks for walking with us. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Sowing Hope. I'm Bill Snyder. It's great to be with you here on Patchwork Heart Ministries, YouTube, and many other different forms of media. However you're listening to us, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are listening on the Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, know that you can head over to our YouTube channel and you can watch us, both Ann and myself. How are you, Ann, doing here on this episode of Sowing Hope?
I'm doing great. I'm excited, Bill, because we haven't done one of these ministry updates in a while. So it'll be great to check in with the things that you and I are both doing, with what we're doing with Patchwork Heart, with Sowing Hope, and also what we're doing with our own ministries, you with Patchwork Heart and all the other things that you do, and me with the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation and the great things that we're doing there too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, it's always so important to do these every once in a while. And it's great to connect with our listeners, too. And remember that you can email us very simply. It's Sowing Hope, SEWING, hope at patchworkheart.org. Both Ann and I get those emails. So if you want to reach out to us and say hello, or say, hey, I like this idea or that idea, I have a new idea, I'd love to work with you or be interviewed on the podcast, feel free, because we always love hearing from our listeners. So please go ahead and do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first thing that comes to my mind, Bill, is something that you and I are going to be collaborating together over the Lenten season. And even before that is a parenting series. We're going to be doing a 10-part series on Sowing Hope podcast with Bill and myself, with all different topics that have to do with parenting. Bill is the father of a young son who's actually going to be turning 9 months old, I believe, pretty soon.
Yeah,
and of course, my children are older, they're in their 20s. So we're really going to range the topics there, but all of it will revolve around our faith and revolve around, bringing faith to our families and to our children and how to be better parents. So I'm really looking forward to that one, Bill.
Yeah, I am too. I feel a little unqualified only because I've been a parent for 8 months here. It'll be 9 here on Saturday, but it'll be fun to share and to learn and grow in faith, and just continually learn more. I mean, I think when it comes to parenthood anyway, at least for me right now, it's kind of like drinking out of a fire hose, because every day brings something new for my son. So that's exciting and beautiful and wonderful. But at the same time, it's it's keeping up and trying to keep the puke off for you. And as he's throwing broccoli across the room, you're trying to just keep pace with him. But it's a wonderful thing. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's right. It really is. And me being your friend and someone that you do a podcast with, I get to hear little stories. I get to see his beautiful pictures on social media. I get to love and like on all those pictures. So I make a shout out to your wife, Agnes, and just for the great parents that you are. And, this parenting series, we'll talk about the most important aspect of parenting, which to me, and I believe, Bill, you'll agree with this, is love, really. Just showing love to your family, love to your children. And then through that door of love, that's when the faith comes in, right?
Mhm.
It's you first, you have to walk through the door of love and of care and of being with your child and spending quality time. And then from that point, then we can go right into our faith. So
Yeah.
I think we have a lot to look forward to during that 10-part series. And it's going to be starting sometime in February. We don't have the exact week yet, but mid-February we'll go right through Lent. And so that will be a beautiful thing. Keep an eye on. And of course, it'll be on all of those podcasting outlets that we're already on. So
Yeah, just stay tuned to us, folks. I mean, but our audience is growing, our listener base is growing, and that's all thanks to our listeners. And so, definitely want to give a shout out to all of you listening and sharing, because it's this wouldn't be going on still without your support and your help. So, really, thank you so very much for all that you do to make our show a success. It's really awesome. I know there's a bunch of other things going on, and I don't know what else you want to touch on, but I'll let you touch on a few of those other things.
Oh, thank you, Bill. First thing I want to make a note of, and it's not so much what's going on, but something that's coming up is that, believe it or not, the Sowing Hope podcast is going to be celebrating in March our 2-year anniversary.
Wow.
And we were really literally born out of the pandemic.
Mhm.
And some of you have heard this story before, but the way that it worked out was that I had an opportunity that I was doing for a couple years. I was working at uh, RVN TV, which is an online TV network where I actually hosted my own show. It used to be called The Positive Side. I really loved that. And it ended only because of the fact of the pandemic. And I was traveling from one state to another. And of course, I couldn't do that. And so God sent my friend Kendra into my life that introduced me to Bill Snyder. And there, from that point, God enlightened me to say to Bill, hey, what about the idea of us doing something together? And there, the Sowing Hope podcast was born. Bill had something that happened in his life, which changed some things. And he was actually able to spend some time at home and had more opportunity. Because when I first brought it up, Bill, I remember you said, I don't think I have time to do this. I don't think that it's going to fit into my busy schedule, but maybe you can tell our listeners what
Oh,
happened next, because it
oh
was
yeah.
just God ordained, really.
Yeah, it was one of those Holy Spirit moments. Yeah, it was
Mm.
just I'm an Uber and Lyft driver as well as full time running Patchwork Heart Ministry, and so a simple fender bender derailed my car for like 2 weeks, and I said, well, Ann, I guess the Holy Spirit wants me to do this. So, a little fender bender made this show possible. The Holy Spirit makes things possible through accidents, quite literally. So this is an amazing blessing in our lives. And so I can't believe we're saying we've been on the air for 2 years and sharing the airwaves and the amazing people that we've talked to, the incredible stuff that we've accomplished in those 2 years. It's all thanks to God, because it certainly is not up to me. Clearly, I would have still been saying, "Oh no, I don't have time to do this." So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's right. I just had to bring that up because I'm realizing that we started in March of 2020. And I think when we reflect back and think of what that time was like for all of us, it wasn't just for me or for Bill, that it was like this big question mark in our minds of what's going to happen next. But there's a beauty in just trusting God, right? And a beauty in following the path that He has set for us. So here we are, like more than 175 episodes of Sowing Hope.
Yeah.
So if you haven't done so yet, maybe this is your first time that you've listened to Sowing Hope. Be sure that you subscribe. Bill has a beautiful website there called patchworkheartradio.org, where you can see all those podcasts, subscribe. It's also, of course, on YouTube at Patchwork Heart Ministry.
Yeah.
And, I know that we're going to continue on this journey together with the collaborative work. So I thought, like, you had asked me the question, like, what's going on for us? So a few things are happening. First, I have to mention, I think some of you know that we do a lot of collaborative work with these two ministries. So it's Patchwork Heart Ministry the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation. And we can't forget actually that third one who's so responsible for helping to share all of our work and done so much for us in terms of all of our shows is Fiat Ministry Network. I just have to say a big thanks to Kent Kohaski and Jennifer Sinclair, as every single week they've been streaming these podcasts on their channels and, helping us and producing Journeys in Faith, which is my own program that's on every Friday night at 8:30, where I've been interviewing guests on video for actually coming up on 2 years in June, I believe it was already. So do, keep an eye on us and what we're doing. And we thank Fiat Ministry Network. Now, some of you know a group called HCD Talks. That's a ministry that we are friendly with. It's Carlos Solorzano and Angelica Dell'Alana. And that stands for Humani Corpus Dignitate. And they do a whole ministry for theology of the body. And I know a lot of you who are watching this or listening to the podcast know what theology of the body is from St. John Paul II and expanded upon by Christopher West. Keep an eye out on our ministries, because we're doing some wonderful collaborative work with those ministries, in addition to our good friend Emily K. Whiting. And there is going to be something really great that's going to be happening this year in terms of all of our ministries coming together, doing some shows that are going to be streamed and that you can watch and share. But it all has to do with growing in our faith, doesn't it, Bill? I didn't know if you wanted to share a little bit about that collaborative effort.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Growing in our faith and working through health issues. That's one of the big things that we're going to be, focusing on as well, and how to approach chronic health issues and health issues through the lens of Catholicism. And that, was one of those things that I think is a void out there a little bit. And, when my spiritual director for myself and also Patchwork Heart Ministry always talks about when we have conversations, find the void, find where the church isn't being served and go serve in that area. And that's one of the areas that I think we can serve in is Catholic understanding of how we can approach chronic health issues. And, Anne and myself both have dealt with, issues, and Emily and Carlos and Angelica all deal with different health issues, and they come from a different perspective. We all come from different perspectives. But Angelica being a nurse practitioner, Carlos having a phenomenal focus with theology of the body and being a Theology of the Body Institute graduate there and certified. We have so many different angles to approach this. And, Emily has amazing witness about her special needs daughter. So we have so many different ways that we are going to, approach this, and it's going to be a great event. We're hoping to build up and provide something to the church that maybe isn't currently being served. So I know I'm looking forward to that. And again, just stay tuned to our ministries, because I know that we will definitely be pushing it out there.
Yes, we certainly will. And I really am looking forward to that. And, it's only the beginning of a lot of these collaborative works that we're doing, because another thing, and maybe I'm jumping ahead of myself to tell all of you this, but keep your eyes open for some in-person events having to do with this collaboration with Patchwork Heart Ministry, the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation, and HCD Talks, as we are in the talking stages of planning in-person events, possibly in the greater Philadelphia area, and probably this year.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that too, and what's to come. Now, I mentioned Patchwork Heart Ministry's website is patchworkheart.org. Our website for our foundation is nonnatus.org. So really just keep an eye on those two. And of course, our friends at HCD Talks, hcdtalks.org. You make sure that connect there too.
Oh, absolutely.
So just got so many great things going on. And another thing was that Bill and I just were in the middle of a podcast for the St. Ramon Foundation on SoundCloud, and it's called "How to Deal with a Health Crisis."
Mm.
And Bill and I just did the first and second parts, and keep an eye on the third.
Yeah.
And those podcasts are right there on our website under our podcast section. There you can listen to them, and they're short, they're audio podcasts, but it gives you an idea. As Bill said, there's a void there. There's a void for people who have gone through some kind of health crisis, whether it's for you or someone you love. It could be a spouse or a parent or your child. And I know with Emily Whiting, that's what she's dealt with, was a daughter, very young daughter that has had multiple surgeries, multiple health issues. And so that's part of what it means also to be a family in crisis, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're really trying to cover that area of also not only physical, but any type of, sometimes people have emotional crisis too. And that's where we come into play. Bill, I thought we could also talk about something that we did last year, which is still really an amazing venture that we did. That's very much, we're promoting it, is the book that we wrote together. Bill, I thought maybe you could tell us a little bit about how that was born and ways that people can buy and purchase that book and learn more about it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So Hearts Burning Within Us is an amazing book. And it was really an inspiration from the Holy Spirit several years ago. But what we did was we met over the height of the pandemic with 5 different students from 3 different universities and colleges. And we talked with them about the questions that burned on their heart, right? The ones that were just like, these are the questions that if I could have answered would deepen my faith. And so we did exactly that. We met with them weekly through the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, and we answered the questions that were on their heart. And it's amazing that we had the opportunity to do that. It was unlike any other type of question and answer book that I have seen. And the reason why I say that is because we really journeyed with each other. This wasn't just submit your questions, let the authors write it, and away we walk. No, it was this accompaniment along the journey. And it wasn't necessarily that we're saying, okay, we're going to, sacrifice church teaching in this area, or, we're going to placate certain things. No, it was, listen, do you understand this? And as you understand this, the way we phrase this, the way we talk about this, will it impact you and your peers? And that was the approach we took. And I think we've had some wonderful feedback. We've had, several copies of it sold. It's available anywhere books are sold, primarily Amazon. You can find it on Amazon. You can also my Alexa goes off when I say I apologize for that, folks.
It's okay.
But anyway, it's available there. It's also available, I believe, on barnesandnoble.com and all those other fun places. And you can also get it on our website, patchworkheart.org. So head over there, patchworkheart.org. You can get a copy. Also on Charis Publishing, charisbooks.com, or charispublishing.com, our friends who published the book. So check it out. And it's been a blessing. I know graduation season is, not all that far away, right? Like, I know we just started the spring semester, but it's not all that far away. So maybe think about getting it for those high school graduates. As they head off to college, it's going to be a great book for that time and that age group. So it was awesome writing that book with you, Anne, and also our friends Jennifer Oakley now and Maggie Riggins. It was really fun.
It really was. In fact, I still can't believe that's almost 2 years, a year and a half ago, but coming on 2 years that we did this.
Yeah.
And it's really a blessing in how God worked. And I think that's the wonderful thing about ministry, is how things unfold over time. and how God gives you the courage to find new ways, as your spiritual director told you, is to filling the voids of ways that are things that are in the church that we know that we can do something about. And, I think that's why we came together, Bill, on this podcast with Sowing Hope. It's all about sowing hope into broken hearts.
Yeah.
And the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation, who I represent, which are the Mercedarian Friars, we can't thank you enough. And me being the director and the representative of this beautiful religious order. And I think we have a lot of good things that are going to be coming, working with them. I know that they are very excited about the work that we are doing. Their vicar, Father Matthew Phelan, who's a pastor over at Our Lady of Lourdes in Philadelphia, he is excited, as well as many of the other friars in this order, are excited about the work that we're doing to reach the marginalized, to reach those who are away from their faith and need to know that they are loved and cared about, because that's exactly what you're about, Bill, what Patchwork Heart Ministry is about. It's about what we're about at the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation. And I believe it's also with Fiat Ministry Network, where we say yes to Jesus Christ. I mean, that's really what this is all about. We can't do anything alone. We need others. We need, in ministry, there's no real getting ahead without bringing people along with you, isn't it? I mean, it's not about this foundation becoming the star number one national platform of the Catholic Church. It's about using all the resources and making friends along the way, isn't it? I mean, I think that's the most important thing, is that we're evangelizing people. That's what we care about. We care about people. We care about their relationship with God, not as a checkbox to say, I did the right thing for God so that just I can go to heaven, right? It's not just about me or about individual people. It's about everybody. It's about how we love everybody. And I think that's really what all of what we're all about is, love and caring about them, caring about you who are listening to this right now. So we're just so blessed to have you join us along with this beautiful show, this beautiful podcast. I'm really grateful to Bill for being a wonderful co-host with me and all the great ideas that we continue to come up with to evangelize people and to evangelize ourselves too, right, Bill? I mean,
absolutely.
I think we're not just evangelizing you, we're evangelizing our families and ourselves.
Yeah, and I think we learn so much, through doing all of these different projects and all these different podcasts. I mean, each time I sit behind the microphone, I always learn something. I always, pray to God that we're reaching into the hearts and souls of people to bring them closer to God. That's really as Ann said, it's really our goal to do that, evangelize, but we're also getting something ourselves too. We always learn something. And we always grow in faith through this. I want to mention one quick thing as we kind of wind down the episode, and just to kind of look out for it. And if you want to be a part of it, let us know. But Fiat Ministry Network and myself, and Patchwork Heart Ministry, I should say, not myself, have an amazing opportunity to begin working on a documentary for the Shroud of Turin. Our working title for the film is going to be "Who Do You Say That I Am?" And we're working with some shroud experts in this area, and also we have secured the filming rights to film a full-length replica of the shroud from the Man of the Shroud exhibit at Marytown in Libertyville, Illinois. So if you've never been to Marytown, I do encourage you to go check it out. But I also encourage you to check out the Men of the Shroud exhibit. It's a traveling exhibit. And we're going to be able to film this exhibit and also interview different people about, who do you say that Man of the Shroud is? Who do you say I am? And we're going to be putting this together. We're hoping to have these shroud experts be able to be interviewed by us. And we're in final talks with that. And then once we have that secured and the exhibit set up and ready to go for us to film, we're going to hopefully be able to release this close to Divine Mercy Sunday. We're hoping that around Divine Mercy Sunday, we're going to be able to release this film, this documentary, if you want to call it a documentary. But the focus is, yes, it's going to be on the science. We have science, obviously involved with the shroud because it's been so widely studied by so many different experts. So we're going to have that aspect of it, but we're also going to have the encounter aspect. That's one thing. Like, and I don't know about you, Ann, when you've seen Shroud of Turin exhibits or when you've seen the shroud, like documentaries on the History Channel, they talk a lot about the science and it's impressive, but they always leave the one question that I want answered most, is who do you say I am? Right. And coming, does this move me to deeper faith? Right. It always kind of leaves me short, like, oh, wait a minute. All right. Yeah. The science is really cool. And, but wait a minute, who is this guy? And so, is it or is it not? And they really never definitively answer that question. Can you definitively answer it? No, but with the eyes of faith, I think we can gather evidence from ordinary people that say, man, this image just deepened my faith. This image made me believe a little more in Jesus, and that he is who he says he is, right? And so that's our goal. It's, again, yes, we're going to go into the science. It'll be fun. It'll be engaging, but to have those personal witnesses, those personal testimonies of people who've encountered the exhibit of the shroud, this Man of the Shroud exhibit, they've encountered it, they've seen it, they've looked at it, and now who do you walk away believing? Is it Jesus? Isn't it? Who do you say that I am? So we're looking forward to putting that together. Again, we're in the final stages of actually just all the logistics of it. And as soon as we have that nailed down, hopefully it's in the next day or two, that everything is nailed down and we can begin publicity, and we can begin to, put it out for real. So keep an eye on our social media for all of that. And if you want to be a part of it in any way, you want to send a testimonial in, you've seen the exhibit, you've seen the shroud, we would love to be able to include it in that, even if it's a text or something like that, even if it's a text we can put on the screen, feel free to email it to us or reach out to us via our ministry. You can just use sowinghope@patchworkheart.org. So that's super cool. Any other things, and wrapping up? I know we've got like 3 or 4 minutes left here.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up about the shroud. And I know you've been doing great work, and I've been interested in hearing about it every week that you and I've been connecting and talking about it. So please do, all of you, keep an eye. Bill and Kent from Fiat Ministry Network are doing really great work in this area. And it's just an extremely exciting thing. And I'm just anticipating it very much. I just want to leave everyone with, we're going to be coming into Lent, and I think now is the time. We're going to be entering into February. We're taping this actually on the last day of January, is to just starting to think about ways that you and I, all of us, can grow closer to God during this season, this beautiful season that's coming. And of course, Bill and I will be in the middle of that parenting series that we're doing. And, we're going to incorporate that. We're going to incorporate family life and coming together in prayer during beautiful seasons like the Lenten journey. And so please do keep an eye. I thank you all for listening. And Bill, I thank you too, because I just think that what we're doing here on Sowing Hope is a very special thing, and I'm very grateful.
Oh, absolutely. And I share that gratitude, believe me. And, I know that God is doing great things. I think he's planting some seeds. He's sowing some hope through this podcast. So we really do appreciate you all listening, and don't hesitate to engage with us. Again, social media, we got Facebook pages, we have Twitter accounts. I think it's Hope Sowing is Instagram and Twitter, if I am right off the top of my head. And then, of course, you can search for the Sowing Hope podcast on Facebook. And just engage with us. Send us an email every once in a while. Let us know you're listening. We absolutely love to hear from our listeners and guests too. So if you want to be a guest on the show, don't hesitate to email us. But I thank you, Ann, for everything, and we look forward to being with you next week.
Thanks, Bill. See you next week.
All right, folks. Well, until next time, from all of us here at Patchwork Heart Ministry, I'm Bill Snyder. Keep beating to your Catholic heart and sowing hope into those broken hearts.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Sowing Hope on Patchwork Heart Radio. For more information about this podcast and our ministries, visit our websites, patchworkheart.org and andesantis.com. You can also follow and interact with us on Twitter at PWH Ministry or Andy Santis 2.